What is up, boys and girls? In today's video I'm going to share with you I think 12 examples of queen sacrifices that you can use, learn and recycle in your own games. These are all patterns that are not necessarily uncommon at all. Some of them I have used, for example this first one I've used multiple times. If you've been following the channel you'll be familiar with this von Hennig queen sack against the Caro-Kann. Okay, so we're going to kind of whiz through these. I want you to get a feel for how they work. We're not going to analyse every move because there's 12 games, for goodness sake. I won't be here all day. Okay, bring the knight out. This is all normal. Takes, and now instead of knight recaptures, which is the main line, we bring out the bishop. So we have sacrificed the pawn. Black tries to save the pawn. We attack it again with f3. They think, sod it, let's cash it in. And then bishop comes out to attack the knight. You can see the eval here has gone to +2 for white, and that's because we have our favourite move is actually on the board. The best move here, just slightly, is bishop takes f7. And if bishop takes f7, king takes, then this is a double attack. The king will have to move somewhere. King e8 is the best move. King g8 tends to lose quite a lot. And then you're going to win the bishop and carry on. But if you've also got this idea as well from this move. When they pin the knight, instead of sacking the bishop first, you go in with the knight and they go, and then you say, oh no, my queen. And if they take the queen, they lose because it's that. Okay. Now, also has to be said that if they spot it and retreat here, it makes no difference because you can just grab the bishop for free. The knight can't take because that's still checkmate. Okay, that's number one. Let's look at another one in the Caro-Kann. Okay, e4, c6, d4, pawn to d5, and again knight c3 takes and knight takes. They come out with their knight, so there's tension now between the knights. Your knight is undefended, something must be done. Queen to d3. And now they come out with a pawn and hit your pawn. You take. Now we have tension between the knights and tension between the queens. Okay. Now if your opponent then goes queen a5 check, thinking, aha, I now have a fork on the king and this pawn. Right? You block with your bishop, they take the pawn. And now, obviously this knight here is pinned and it's attacked twice. So what do? Well, you just calmly castle long. Here white is +2.5. Okay. Black goes ahead and grabs the knight. Well, they can do, why not? 2 attackers, 1 defender, right? What can possibly go wrong? Well, I'm glad you asked. Queen d8 check. Forces king takes. Right, we've just given up our queen, but look where that king is. King's on d8, there's no pawns on the d file, bishop to g5 is a double check. Right, now whatever this king does, it can't stay there, can't go there, can't go there. There's only 2 moves. If they go to c7, then bishop to d8 is a gorgeous checkmate. It's actually like a dovetail mate, almost, you know, if that was a queen. But yeah, the king can't retreat, and that's beautiful. Or if you go back here, if the king goes to e8, then simply rook to d8 is checkmate as well. Beautiful. Now, all of these are in the Lichess study. I'll put the link to the Lichess study in the description. So, you know, go along, check it out, you know, replay these to your heart's content. This one's in the Scandinavian. Okay, got e4, d5, takes, knight c3, hitting the queen, queen retreats. Okay, I've got this from an Eric Rosen video, so I've been scouring some ideas. Okay, bishop c4, developing move, knight f6, knight f3, and bishop pinning the knight. Again, we see this similar pattern. Okay, you've got a bishop pinning a knight to the queen, and your bishop is looking at the f pawn. Okay, now this pattern you can see from obviously either side of the board. Here, knight to e5, not the most accurate move, but again, if they simply capture the queen here, it's the same thing. Bishop takes f7 is checkmate, right? Now, if they retreat here, again, like we saw before, you can just grab that bishop for free. It's yours, take it. White is +12. They can't capture here. because you still have checkmate there again. So, you know, the point here is this pattern, right? We've talked about this plenty of times before. You know, the idea of pinning a knight to a queen can be good, but always watch out for bishop looking at the f-pawn. Okay, doesn't matter which side of the board it is on. Okay, let's go kind of again Scandinavian, but if we go, I mean, this is one of my absolute favourites. This is lovely, and I have had this in at least one game. Okay, so this is the Blackmore Gambit against the Scandinavian. Right, they take Blackmore Gambit, knight comes out, and now pawn to f3, and they will more than likely capture the pawn. It's almost all the time they'll capture the pawn. Now, in this position, the classic is knight takes f3. It's been played 79,000 times on the Lichess database. Well, that's only at 1600 and 1800 levels, okay? But the Rider Gambit's queen takes f3, and the computer seriously disapproves of this. You're giving up this pawn, for starters, okay? So you then play your bishop out and hit the queen. The queen goes, well, I see another undefended pawn, I'm going to move over here. You say, not so fast. I'm going to castle long, getting the rook on the open d-file, defending this pawn, but then white goes, I see, with my little eye, a lovely skewer, and suddenly the eval bar has swung the wrong way. Because you now play knight to b5, and if they go, haha, you fool, right, you go, no, you fool, that is checkmate. The rook is covering d7, d8, and that's it, it's the end of the game. Thank you very much for the points. All right, now we're moving into the Queen's Gambit territory with d4, d5, pawn to c4. So if you're a Queen's Gambit player, they bring knight out. This is not the most common move, knight c6, about the 7th most common move, but you may see it. You bring out your knight, they bring out their knight, 4 knights. Okay, so this can happen. This is the like Chigorin defense to the Queen's Gambit. They bring out the bishop, and we trade in the middle. This is kind of like the Halloween variation of the Vienna Gambit declined that you may see, or even the Halloween Gambit, kind of similar. Okay, knight retreats. Okay, this is +4 for white already. Okay, one pawn has been lost on either side. You here advance the d pawn, hitting the knight, and this is a remarkably common pattern, right? The knight coming here, you've got a knight pinned to your queen, okay, but your bishop is able to come out to the b file with check. Okay, now I got this from a video that Simon Williams posted, actually, and you should be very happy to see this move. Okay, because what you can now do is, I mean, the most common move played here is bishop to e2, but that's not the best move, because the next move actually wins 91% of the time for white. Knight takes knight. Oh no, my queen. Right? They take your queen. The next move is bishop b5 check, and although you've given up your queen, it's going to end in tears. Okay, let's say they block with a pawn. You can simply capture the pawn, and what you're threatening here is you can push there. You can even capture on b7, threatening to promote. The most common move is b takes, right, at which point you take with the bishop, and now they have to block, and now they have to give up their queen. Okay, queen takes, knight takes, king takes. Your king takes their bishop, and we are up a full piece and a pawn, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah. So we're up a piece and the pawn, and white is nearly +7 here. Okay. Now, alternative from here, if they play their queen over there, which is what was played in the Simon Williams video, it's even worse, because you just push c7 with check. And there's only one legal move here. Knight has to block on d7, bishop takes, is checkmate, with the bishop supported by the knight and the pawn here. Beautiful stuff, okay? But the point here is not to remember the moves, the point here is to remember the patterns. Okay, here's another one. Now this happens to be in the Zukertort opening, right? Knight f3, d6, d4. Bishop out, hitting the knight. We grab the center anyway. Knight comes out anyway. Hit the knight. Okay, Stop me if you've seen this one before. Knight comes into e5. Right? Knight takes e5, bishop takes queen, check, blocks, pawn takes. Yeah. Now here, queen to a5. This looks unpleasant, does it not? Okay. Knight blocks, potentially giving up. Well, not giving up the bishop because queen can't take, because the knight now defends the bishop. So in this game here, black castles. This is the most common move, is long castles. Now c takes b7 is pretty winning. Knight to c4 hits the queen. Queen can't go there, can't go there, can't go there. You know, queen is running out of squares. a3 hits the queen again. This hits the queen again. Queen comes across here. You win the bishop back. And although you have no queen, white is here +2. +2. We're about to demolish what's left of the queen side over there. We've got all the rest of our stuff. We've only lost the queen, right? So we're kind of behind in material. Black, however, has lost one of their knights and one of their bishops, and the king is not looking very happy. This is actually relatively comfortable, and on the Lichess database, white has not lost from this position. Okay, going back to the Queen's Gambit declined. Here's another one. This is quite a common trap. Okay, the Queen's Gambit declined. Knight comes out. Knight comes out. Bishop pins knight. Knight b to d7. Now they take the pawn. You take back. Knight takes back. Well, but hang on. The eval has just gone to -6. But we've got two attackers on this. This knight can't take white's knight, right? Because you lose the queen. Well, sometimes losing the queen is not the end of the bloody world. Okay? Take the knight. Oh no, my queen. Right? Again, bishop b4 checks. This is now from the black side of the board. And the only legal move here is to block with the queen. You take the queen, you lose the bishop, they lose their bishop. You're actually up a full piece. It is now -4.6 in black's favour, and you will go on to win. Black wins 72% of the time from here. That's at the 1600 and 1800 range on Lichess. We've got to mention Legal's mate. If you're talking, oh no, my queen, this is Legal's trap. E4, E5. So this comes from the Italian. Okay. Bishop comes out, pinning the knight. We hit the bishop, forcing it back. Okay. So now the bishop is no longer defending this diagonal. And now knight takes e5. Beautiful. Okay. If bishop takes d1, this has been played 3,368 times on the Lichess database at lower levels, and white has won 3,368 of those games. Bang, bang, bishop takes, right? King can't take, king can't go here either because of the knight. There's only one legal move. King to here, knight to d5, Legal's trap. Absolutely lush. Okay, now let's look at the same pattern, but from a different opening, right? This is Philidor defense, right? Looks very quiet. D4 again, pawn takes, knight takes. Okay, pawn hits, knight retreats. Bishop out, blah, 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 da, da, da. Okay, this is all fairly recognisable. Now here, you might argue bishop takes f7 is playable. Actually, white doesn't win terribly well from there, 45%, because king takes, and you can't go there with check because, well, I suppose queen could take there. Yeah, but then they take your queen. But the better move here, knight to c3. Knight to c3, yeah, is the best move for white. And again, you see this knight, this queen's knight moving in a second time. Okay, what's going to happen now? Knight takes e5. Oh no, my queen. Bishop takes f7 check. They're supported by the knight, right? Because they got greedy. They took the queen. They could have just taken this. Okay, right? And it's the same pattern. Legal's trap. Okay, but from a different angle. There you go. Right, we've got three more to look at very quickly. How about one in the Re Lopez? The Re Lopez with bishop b5. The Berlin defence, known as being very, very dull and boring. White castles, they take the free pawn. You ignore it, play pawn to d4. They take the pawn, centralise the rook. Okay, d5 is played. Queen now grabs the pawn on d4. Point being that both knights here are actually pinned to the king. Okay, they kick the bishop, you trade off the bishop. And now the very odd looking, okay, knight to g5. Now this looks kind of weird, but I suppose we're threatening this knight. This knight can't capture here. The queen can't capture there because it's defended by the bishop. Okay. So are we threatening to take here? Or are we just really threatening f3? We'll see. But should the queen come out to here, I mean, this kind of makes sense. You know, trying to trade off queens, right? Absolutely catastrophic. Because the knight then comes back taking e4, sacking the queen. Knight comes back to f6 with check. Okay, now the double check actually. Double check, rook and knight. The king can't stay there, can't go here because of the knight. There's only one move. And rook to e8 is checkmate. Wow. And how many times has that been seen? Twice. That has been played twice at lower levels. Has been played on the Masters database? No, it has not. But yeah, that's a fascinating one. Here's one I got from Grandmaster Ben Feingold. This actually comes from a gambit that he says he invented. This is against the Dutch defence. Bishop flies out here and gets itself kicked and comes back. So we've prompted h6. Knight comes out. And now we sacrifice a pawn. We gambit a pawn on e4. They take. This is a real game. All right. And now they come out and hit the bishop. Bishop comes in, pinning the knight on the rook. Bishop defends. h4. Here comes Harry. Black here castles, which is a bit dodgy, you know, considering the fact there's no f pawn, the h and the g pawns are off their marks already. We take. Bishop out with check. Blocks. Knight now grabs the pawn on e4, giving up its life, it seems. In the game, black here plays d5. We take the knight with check, takes back, queen in here. Okay, now look at this. So obviously the threat is queen to h7 would be checkmate, covering all the angles. Okay, so here black plays rook to f7, and what is the finish? Pause if you need to and figure it out. Queen h8, it's a lovely sacrifice, okay? King can't take, the only legal move is bishop takes there, and then rook takes h8, okay? Again, rook's guarding these, bishop's guarding them, it's all over, and that one is beautiful, okay? I'm going to look at one more in the Italian game. This is actually this is a real game, played with Chigorin playing with the black pieces. Okay, so I'm going to flip the board here. So we have an Italian, Gioco Piano, Gioco Pianissimo with d3. Right, knight comes out here, bishop pins knight, d6. Castles, kick the bishop, bishop retreats, double kick, bishop retreats again. Okay. h5 now, threatening to trap the bishop. But wait, what about this? Okay, knight takes on g5. You've just blundered a pawn, Mr. Black. Yeah, well, I'm going to attack the bishop anyway. Alright, well in that case I'm going in for the knight attack. Knight takes f7 with a fork on the queen and the rook. Now what are you going to do about it? Apologise for kittens fighting. And black says, I ain't going to do nothing about it. I'm going to have that bishop. Oh no, my queen. Right? Bishop to g4. Attacking the queen. Queen moves to e2. This is what actually happened in the game. Right? Knight to d4. Knight comes out now, And now knight to f3, and we have an unstoppable mate. Okay, I'll show you what actually happened as the sun comes out. Pawn takes knight, I mean king's in check. Pawn takes knight, bishop takes a check, this is temporary, grab the knight. Black has never lost in this position. We've had 14 games from this exact position on the Lichess database. On the Masters database, it says it's not been found. Interesting. Okay, but across all levels on Lichess, got 14 games, 34 games. 34 games, this exact position. Okay, pawn comes up, rook captures, and that's checkmate. Okay, crazy, crazy stuff. So that was played in 1874 in St. Petersburg. So fascinating. So, what's the point? The point is losing your queen ain't the end of the world, and there are many, many opportunities where you get to sacrifice your queen and say those immortal words, "Oh no, my queen," and then go on to pull down your opponent's trousers and give him a jolly good spanking. And there really can be no more satisfying way to win a chess game than with a queen sack. So, here's to all the queen sackers out there. Thanks for entertaining us and giving us a bit of inspiration. Okay, hope you're inspired. I certainly am. Thanks for watching. See you soon.